The Boston Celtics have no shortage of possible sweeteners to encourage the Cleveland Cavaliers to ensure last week's blockbuster swap of all-star point guards remains intact. That doesn't mean Danny Ainge should part with any of them. Nearly a full week since the Celtics and Cavaliers agreed to the jaw-dropping raid that will send Kyrie Irving to Boston, we're still waiting for both sides to give an all-clear. The Cavaliers, sources told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, desire an additional asset after some concerns about the status of Isaiah Thomas' hip injury following Friday's post-trade physical. The Celtics, having already paid a steep price for Irving, are almost certainly uninterested in adding to a package that included Jay Crowder, rookie center Ante Zizic, and the Brooklyn Nets' 2018 unprotected first-round pick. Sure, it would be easy for Ainge, Boston's president of basketball operations, to toss in a protected first-rounder, especially considering the Celtics could have as many as 5 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts. Boston also could select from an assortment of future second-round picks to sprinkle on top. But from this viewpoint, it appears the Celtics factored in the status of Thomas' hip injury, as well as his impending free agency next summer, while putting together a package that included a valuable two-way contributor signed to a sweetheart of a deal and 2 assets that could be key to the Cavaliers' long-term future. So barring a lapse in communication about the status of Thomas' health, there seems little reason for Boston to pay another trade toll, particularly when the Celtics already have passed that booth. The NBA should be monitoring this situation with interest too, because the possibility of a team being encouraged by its trade partner to increase its offerings in the aftermath could be a slippery slope, setting a potentially uncomfortable precedent for future dealings. Maybe this whole post-trade awkwardness simply ends with the Cavaliers passing Thomas' physical sometime before Thursday's deadline. And then everyone's focus on the Celtics and Cavaliers can shift to the season-opening tilt in mid-October. In the meantime, the lingering question is unavoidable. What if that doesn't happen? What if both sides dig in and an impasse ends with the trade being dissolved? To be absolutely certain here, that scenario seems unlikely. The toothpaste is out of the tube. But crazier things have happened with NBA trades. The Celtics would get back 2 rather unhappy campers in Thomas and Crowder and a Croatian-born rookie whose head would be spinning before he has even played his first NBA game. Ainge and coach Brad Stevens would be tasked with finding a way to work through those bad feelings while also finding a way to get Thomas and Crowder to buy back into a franchise that tried to move them. Ainge actually has some experience in this sort of situation, albeit not to this extent. Back during the lockout in 2011, rumors persisted that the Celtics were exploring another all-star point guard swap. This one centered around sending Rajon Rondo to New Orleans in exchange for then Hornet Chris Paul. After the lockout lifted, Ainge was forced to answer questions about how the team would smooth things over with Rondo. Rondo will be fine. Rondo knows that we love him. He's excited to come back and play basketball, in my opinion, Ainge said that winter. He gets a lot of attention. He's a great player. Rondo clearly was irked by having his name invoked in trade discussions, but it didn't affect his play. Rondo produced another all-star season after the Paul rumors and, as Boston transitioned out of the most recent Big Three era, Rondo eventually emerged as team captain in Stevens' first season at the helm. Players know the NBA is a rather emotionless business. While hard to imagine, Thomas and Crowder could eventually embrace Boston again. And if feelings were simply too bruised, Crowder remains on one of the best contracts in the league, earning an average of $7.3 million per season over the next 3 years, and Boston would have little trouble finding another team interested in his services. Alas, potential trading partners might not be willing to part with as much, knowing Boston has a disgruntled player. The Cavaliers might find a similar situation with Irving, all the more reason they might want to be content with the haul that they've gotten in this deal. Poor Thomas has unfairly been labeled as damaged goods throughout this process. The two-time All-Star is coming off one of the most brilliant offensive seasons in Celtics history, a mesmerizing campaign in which he finished in the top 5 in MVP voting and earned a spot on the All-NBA second team. He deserves better here, Pardik.